lecture, more a recital, like of ragtime written by women composers. The ragtime is a very American contribution to keyboard literature, and this is especially interesting because we don't hear very often about the women who wrote ragtime, published ragtime, basically, right? And Gail has done some research, and it's ready to enrich our repertoire. Everybody knows the Beautiful Rag, right? And so today we're going to add some titles to that, to our favorite ragtimes. Let's welcome Gail.
In your insert, it lists all the rags that I'm going to be doing, and also short bios of the women that I've chosen. This is only the tip of the iceberg. The piano, I should mention, this is a Boardman and Gray piano built around 1920s, and it was based in Albany, New York, the company. And it was used by, you can read more about it under Featured American Pianist. And Sir Roland Hanna, who was a very famous jazz pianist and composer, used really liked Boardman and Gray pianos. And so I tried it, and I thought, well, this is a good piano for this music. Works very well for it. And I hope you think so, but I certainly do so. And I'm playing it so. Now, I've been playing rags and music by women composers for a long time. And three of the rags that I'm doing by Aufderheide, Niebergall, and Shepherd are in this program. The other three I just discovered. There's a marvelous website and database compiled by, his name is Ted, and I'm not sure how to pronounce the last name, Chaden. And I've included the website on the notes. It's an exhaustive list from A to Z of rags by women composers, rags and music by women composers, late 19th, early 20th century, that you can download and print out for free. And it's a wonderful resource. The rags that I'm playing were well, they were published, probably written earlier, between 1898 and 1910. And this piano is from around 1920. So I will now play the music, and if you have any questions or comments afterwards, if there's time, I'd be happy to answer them. So you all have the listing of what I'm going to be playing, or would you like me to announce each one as I go along?
We have a list.
Okay, good. Then I won't announce. So I will start with Eli Green's Cakewalk by Sadie Koninsky.
performance, we can only say, Joanne Castle, move over. Gail Ossusky has arrived.
How do you always get the right notes in the bass?
Oh, thank you, Max. Well, you know, a lot of these are in flat keys. And I have found that they're more ergonomic, actually, than if, you know, to me, one of the hardest keys to play something like this in is C major. Because the black keys provide a reference and they also keep your hands in the keys better.
Well, that's true on the organ pedals. The hardest key to play in is E major.
Yeah.
Is C major.
Yeah, yes.
Thank you. I must say, you were all smiling back here. It was just
Well, you know, and that was my thought too. You know, with the world the way it is, we need, as you said yesterday, Max, we need happy music sometimes.
Yeah. But can I ask, I mean,
Yeah.
I love ragtime, but as not a specialist at all in this area of music, where does it actually come from? Are there sort of, what is the key to a ragtime piece? I mean, we hear the wonderful chords and a lot of octaves, and you know, I hear polka in it, I hear all kinds of different things. I mean, is it how would you describe, what are the origins of ragtime?
African American.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cakewalk.
Sorry?
Cakewalk.
Yeah,
Cakewalk,
yeah,
that's
yeah.
African American.
Yeah.
Yeah. You think of Scott Joplin, who was played in bars, and you know, that's what they danced to. And I did a show once as part of a French festival in St. Paul, and the choreographer was doing a history of, you know, American dance, and we played a lot of ragtime, but you know, there were, it was from the black, you know, Afro-American. That's where it originated, really, you know, and that includes not only Africa, but South America,
Right.
you know, wherever there were black people. Cuba, yeah. I mean, with a lot of those rhythms, all the syncopation.
Right.
Yes.
Was music played by women in the same place that men? Or couldn't hear the question? I
well,
asked
some of
where
these-
was this
Where was
women
this music played?
And if women played it.
Some of the women, I can't remember which one it was, might have been Niebergall. They did play them in music halls for dance, you know, dance halls. That's what this music was for originally. You know, people danced to it. You know, the Cakewalk was a dance, and it has steps to it, you know, which I found out when I did this show, you know, and it's, you know, which is why a lot of these are marked as tempo markings, not too fast. And thank goodness, you know, we're full of all of this stuff, you know, and they're right. If it's played too fast, it doesn't, just because you can doesn't mean you should. And if you think about the fact that people dance to this music, and there's only a certain tempo that you could dance to, yes.
And Gil, I was going to mention that there was a very famous ballet suite that was orchestrated by Hershey Kay from
Yeah.
Gottschalk.
Yes, yeah,
Piano arrangements.
Right.
Or piano compositions.
Right.
Excuse me.
yeah. I mean, if you think about it, if you ever see it, you can probably go on YouTube and find people dancing, you know, cakewalks and two-steps and, you know, marches, and there are waltzes too, which I decided, just because of lack of time, you know, not to do waltzes, but there's tons of those too. So, yes.
Do we know about the background of these women and their ethnicity, for example?
Oh, they were white.
Oh, they were.
Yeah, they
That's
were white. A lot of, let's see, was,
Well, perhaps even the fact that they got published goes with the
Niebergall,
racial.
Aufderheide, and Shepherd, there was a big cluster of female ragtime composers in the Ohio, Indiana area. And May Aufderheide was one of the first ones, and her father, she came from a wealthy family, her father decided to publish her music. And so that's how a lot of this got published by her father's publishing company. I mean, it wasn't easy. It wasn't even easy for Scott Joplin either at first. But yeah, most of these, if you go to this website, there were a lot of these when I was picking and choosing, I decided not to do because the titles are not exactly politically correct.
Yes.
And, if you think of, late 19th, early 20th century, just what people were called, and, of all, BIPOC communities, it wasn't very complimentary. Yeah.
Yeah, speaking of titles, I'm wondering what it is about the totally different rag that makes it so different.
Well,
The title.
no, actually, the form. Most rags, the A section, there's an A, a B, and sometimes C and D. The A section normally comes back after the first B. And then you go, and then never again. But in the totally different rag, the A section never comes back. And there's only an A, well, not exactly, because the B section comes back. There's only an A and a B section, and the B section, well, there's a C, I forgot about the trio. But the B section comes back transposed, which never, you never see that in these. So that's why it was totally different, because the form is totally different.
One more question and then we need to.
A quick comment in the question. Comment is that, I don't know if you all know, there were many thriving piano makers in New York State, in upstate New York, all around back in those times. And the other question is, are the pedals, is the pedaling marked? Because,
No. Sometimes I have played rags by other, not in these pieces, but in other composers. Scott Joplin sometimes marks them,
Right,
but not these. No,
yeah, 'cause-
no, that was operator decision.
right.
Just
I know some
my
of
own
them
decision.
like to have this very attribute.
That's a special. That's actually a special form.
Okay,
Yeah.
good to know.
And Scott Joplin, who was very specific actually at marking, a two-step, or that's called a two-step stomp.
Good.
He actually marks that. But no, I didn't have any of those in this.
Gail, I will leave you with a question for more research. And it's about the trio sections, which are clearly more interesting than what Joanne Castle plays in her standard ragtimes on TV. But do you think this in these compositions I could hear more interesting trio writing? And do you think that this is because they were women, because they were a little later? So I don't know, we would have to look at the whole women ragtime.
I don't think so. I think some of Scott Joplin's trios are interesting too. I don't think it's gender specific.
Okay.
But I like
But
what
these
they did.
are